All right, takers, what is up? It is Tyler, and we have a whole roundtable today. So I'm not used to having all of these guests on the show. So I do want to take a moment to introduce ourselves. Of course, we have one of the main stars of Love and Marriage Detroit joining us today as well. I go by the name of the Tyler Belts, creative broadcasting director and host of Ty's Take today. And I'm not sure if we're all laid out on the same direction, but to my right, I'm gonna let her introduce herself. I had the pleasure of getting to meet her virtually through Twitter, and she's rocking with Love and Marriage Detroit. So I'm gonna let her take it away and introduce herself to all of our takers and audience.
Hey everybody, my name is Darice. My Instagram and social media is Sincerely Libra, and I'm from St. Louis. And I'm excited. Thank you, Anthony, for going live with us.
Shout out to Lou. I know y'all very well out there.
Yay.
Absolutely. And then to Darice's next in line, I'm gonna let our next correspondent introduce himself.
How you guys doing? My name is Will Bennett. From Detroit. Hey. Yeah, I've been waiting on something like this for a long time. I've been watching your show, Anthony. Also been following you on social media, and I'm glad to be here to actually have a conversation with you about the things that you're doing. I'm very proud of you and your whole movement, man. So let's get it popping.
Appreciate you.
Absolutely. And continuing, you guys may have heard his voice on Hot 93.97. I'm going to let our next and final correspondent go ahead and introduce himself and his platform as well.
What up, though, guys, ladies and gentlemen? My name is Elante Mills. I am the assistant director over at Hot 93.7 Network. It's a pleasure to be here with you guys on a different platform today. Not on the radio today. Definitely, I just watched the show today. And boy, I got some stuff. I was telling my wife, like, I don't even watch stuff like this. She like, why are you watching this? I'm like, we'll talk about it later. But I got some questions too.
Sure. Absolutely. I appreciate you all once again. And then, of course, joining us is Anthony Thompson II. So I just want to say thank you all so much for setting up just a little bit of time to dive into the second season. I know we all have a list of questions. I've got tons of questions myself. I have people's tweets written out. And let me tell you, just like you said, Alante, like for me, this is like not something that I never have enough time in the day to get caught up on like television in general. Like, so aside from like watching different news platforms and like, I'm not going to hold you. I'll be watching Sherry Shepherd all the time. But I definitely am not somebody that is usually watching these types of TV shows. But when I said Love and Marriage Detroit, being from Metro Detroit, I was like, it's so dope to see the city and to see, you know, these strong, powerful couples and influences. And then being able to be like, hey, I've been there before. Hey, that's Campus Martius, you know? Yeah. So I just appreciate you all again. And I'm gonna let actually Darice go ahead and let's dive into these questions. I'm super excited to see what questions you guys have and share our thoughts and different perspectives on the season thus far.
I am a fan of all of the franchise or all of the franchises. So I started watching Huntsville and then DC and now Detroit. And what I love about Detroit is that all of the couples seem to be believers. That's my favorite thing about Detroit, and what to me it kind of stands out from the other two. And so just wanted to ask you, do you feel any pressure to be an example or conduct yourself a certain way being on the show because of your faith?
Well, I'll say this. It's two parts to that. Number one, because of the things that I do, I'm around people every day, a lot of people. So from my programs in the school system, we service like 700 kids 5 days a week. So those school systems, those parents and those kids and all them see how I move on a daily and throughout the city of Detroit. And then I travel a lot. So a lot of people actually know me, you know, and know how I am. So my thing is I live my truth. So I live my truth. Just because you're a believer don't mean that you don't have an opinion. Just because you're a believer don't mean that you can't express how you feel. When you're looking at the show, people got to be real. This is how real friends and people communicate at home, playing dominoes, at home watching TV and playing cards, and then couples coming together.
Right.
These real conversations. So it don't bother me at all, because if you being real, this how y'all really be talking. My boy be cracking jokes with my wife like that's his sister. I crack jokes with his wife like, what's up, sis? Whatever. And you had your boys back. Come on. This is the culture. It's the culture.
Yeah.
I agree 100%. Like, you should be able to be authentically you. People are so judgmental, but I feel like you guys do a pretty good job representing, because we're human at the end of the day. So we're not perfect, and we won't be perfect until we go up. So
Absolutely.
Do you want me to go ahead with my other question or go to somebody else?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you can continue. I'm loving it. And I want to come back to something that you had mentioned, because Anthony, I gotta know, when I saw that y'all came together to play board games, and I was like, shoot, it's about to get real. My real question is, I want to know who cooked the dinner, but we can get back to that later. I want to know if it came from starters or if somebody was in the kitchen whipping it up. But
starters, dog.
I had to.
Quick to go plate.
Come on, Dr. Thompson don't eat from starters, my baby.
I hear that.
I was gonna say, I don't even think they cater.
I was gonna say,
don't do Ali like that. Don't do my boy like that. Remember, these are my people now.
I can't even hold you.
Starters is a great establishment.
I can't even front like I have.
I was just there the other day for happy hour.
Okay, I have a question for you, Anthony. Knowing the line between reality and real life, I want to know, how have you not let what goes on TV really, I don't want to say destroy, but impact what goes on in your real life day to day?
Well, my situation is a little different. When it comes to business, I'm very established. I've worked in the entertainment business professionally for 15 years now. So I come from working with Capitol Records and work with Sony Epic Records, and I transitioned over to Live Nation. And then also I worked for Disney Marvel Studios. So I went from running around working, that's what a lot of people know, from touring and all that, to going more corporate. So, I mostly work with Caucasians, in the entertainment behind the scenes. And then the work that I do in the community, a lot of people, the day-to-day. So it's like we help and educate. We also do a lot of giveaways, so it's not really been affecting me personally. You're going to get trolls. I'm a troll. So I understand the troll game. It's fun to me. So I had to back up from the troll game a little bit, because I didn't want to mislead people from God, and it go too far. But I'm a person that crack jokes and have fun all the time. I'm a Joy Road boy, West Side Detroit. So,
I'm with it.
Saying? So, like, we played I grew up. If you went to Detroit public schools, at that lunch table, we crack jokes all day. We went hard. Indeed. So it's like, I'm kind of immune to it. It don't really bother me whatsoever. But I take a lot of the hits because everybody on the cast can't handle certain things, and I recognize that. Remember, I'm a producer. I'm behind the scenes, so I've worked on a lot of projects. So it's like, I'll take those hits and I'll play the villain and take that, because of the fact of I don't want to see nobody really, lives really be affected like that, because I can definitely handle it. Now, when it comes to the relationship side with my wife, I have to be very careful, because she just entering into entertainment a little bit, and this is my world. It's not her world. She works in sports therapy. So she does physical therapy for the Red Wings and the Tigers, and then also the soccer team. So she does that, and then she has her wine business. So she comes from Metro Detroit. She grew up in Southfield, Lathrop, West Bloomfield area. So they move different than the way we move in the city. So I got to recognize that as well. And, she's doing excellent to me. To me, she's doing excellent.
Okay.
Absolutely. And now, Anthony, I want to talk a little bit about, being vulnerable. And I feel like there's a stigma, like on our platform here on Size Take Today, we're constantly advocating for mental health, and it's okay to not be okay sometimes. And I feel like, how has being on TV given you the platform to even further your work every day that you're doing within your community? And how can other people out there as well help break that and like change that stigma that's associated with, like, especially when it comes to, you know, men, and not you know, we're not supposed to show our emotions or show our feelings. You know, what is your message and stance on that?
Well, I'm gonna break it down in different little parts so you can understand why I understand community and mental health so well. My father was a social worker. He worked in mental health. He was at, if you're familiar with Michigan, Southgate. He worked at that mental health hospital. Then he ran Wayne Center in Midtown. It used to be mental health there, Wayne Center. Then he went from mental health to youth development, and him and his partners created Youthville Detroit off Woodward. So I was in high school and college when Youthville was a concept and created, and I helped write the programs. So it's twofold to where I was being able to be free in myself. For one, I got saved in college at Michigan State University. So I grew up really hard. I grew up in Joy Road on Rosemont, exit 9. And when you come from a situation to where you didn't see people get their heads blew off and brains on the pavement, I've seen all that murder and all that. So I take a lot of things like I'm lighthearted and I crack jokes. I'm happy to be alive. In the past, I never thought I would make it to this age. You know, making it to 25 was a big deal where I come from. So to go to college on a football scholarship, to graduate from the business college, and then I owe a lot to my grandmother and my mother. So it's like when I was talking about the situation where I went to Atlanta and I took the job at Disney Marvel Studios, I was saying to my wife, it ain't just about you. I got a whole family that I help support financially, spiritually, emotionally. And I owe a lot. I owe Detroit. I owe a lot of people that helped me come up and make it through. Because, you know, a lot of people looked out for me. I didn't do this by myself. So when in that moment, if you're talking about on the boat, that moment was me thinking about my grandmother that passed. My grandmother passed from brain cancer. She had tumors in the brain. And I had to bathe and wash my grandmother. I had to really help take care of her in her transition. Then repeat, my father, during his time, he was sick. He couldn't walk, none of those type of things. And I had to bathe and do these things for my father. So to me, I was thinking about, I owe a lot of people. I got to make these and take this to this level because these are things that I told them I was going to do before they transitioned. So it was a very high moment for me. And because not just, people got to understand, it ain't just about my white family. I got a family too. That's why it was such a high moment for me emotionally, because I was trying to convey that to her, like, I'm leaving $150 million sets for you. I love you a lot. Like, real talk. Know what this is. Like, you're taken care of very well here back home. You in a nice big house, you know, and we got a place down here in Atlanta. And I think that because of the way I've supported you, you know, and she ain't like me saying this part, like, I funded your business. I gave you cash. You know, Obelisk Wine don't have no debt. You know, my business, I had to grow this thing from the ground. And then I'm working inside out. So I'm also working a full-time job and running the company and running nonprofits and running your company. Stop acting like you don't have help or you just single mom and I left you by yourself. My mom was there every day helping with the kids' schooling. Her mom was there, you know, so it was a lot of support. But my mom told me, she said, emotionally, you do a lot and your wife and your family need you. So I had to make a decision. Hey, let me get back to my wife because it's more important than the money. I got to make sure my kids and my wife are okay. So it was a lot. I really wish they had talked about this more because a lot of people hit me up online like, man, a lot of people deal with this living in multiple states, moving around a lot and caring for their family.
Absolutely. And I think, you know, it's like you guys go through so much, spending so much time, you know, filming, and then we're only seeing a fragment. Like, you know, we only have an hour, not including the commercials. Right. So we're not ever going to see the full story.
When we film, that's 3 hours. Y'all get 3 minutes.
Wow.
Think about that. The cuts and I don't trip about it because I know the game. But think about that. Like, they can cut and paste conversations, which they do a great job though. Like, I feel like the story that they want to tell at all and the story they're telling, they still doing a good job. And they know our characters who can handle what. I think they do it a certain way. They know who can handle what.
Okay. Okay, I have a question. I have a question for you, Anthony. looking at the past seasons, I see that the relationship with you and Brandon has been rocky. Within this new season, can you like tell us like if this relationship got worse, or you guys were like, you know what, we have to figure this out for the sake of us as men collaborating on this project?
Well, I'll say this. It was no reason for us truly to fall out if you really pay attention.
Okay.
He just picked the wrong person. That's just all it really was. Like, he started off, remember, he went at his wife, and me and Bravo was like, he's like, man, she hold me back, all that. And to be honest with you, I was wrong in a sense to where I overstepped, and I'm like, man, don't let her hold you back. I done been through this. I was projecting from my situation. And so he was going at Christina heavy. Then he started going at Kobe and Russell. And then, you know, what Russell said to him, he like, let me back off that. And then he started coming at me. He done said it several times. It's just me. I be on go time. Oh, that's what we doing? I got you. And I ain't going to stop until, you know, I ain't stopping. I'm going to keep going until you wave the white flag. So that's just what type of time I be on. So it's like,
yes.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, it's cool because it's like everybody on the show has a relationship with God. And it's certain things that you're going to cross, but you ain't going to play with me. So it's a lot of stuff that y'all don't see. And then until the show is over, it's certain things I'm not even going to reveal until afterwards, but you can't affect my business because of what I do. But my thing is, if anybody on the show you should have really stayed tapped in with, low key, on real talk, it should have been me. Because who else can really benefit you like I can benefit you?
I love that. And I loved seeing you take accountability on the last episode. I think it was episode 2, where you sat down with Brandon and y'all talked, and y'all mended things. So I really loved seeing that. And I was wondering if do you think that your wife and his wife will be able to mend their friendship as well?
This is what's tricky. My wife, Dr. Thompson, Christina, never had a relationship. So that's what's tricky. What's tricky is me, Brandon, Bravo, and Russell knew each other. So we've known each other. Kobe and my wife knew each other a little bit because they sorority sisters. So they've seen each other as sorority sisters, but they didn't even really know each other that well. They became friends more as we've been filming. She's known Kim for a long time, but I've known Kim since high school. And then I've known Bravo and Keita. Me and my wife known Lakita since college because she went to Michigan State with us. And then Bravo, I've known him since high school. So me and Brandon known each other for a long time because with entertainment here locally. And I think that it was taken wrong because my wife said the exact same thing to Kobe, what she said to Christina. Kobe received it, Christina didn't. Christina just the type that if you ain't team Christina and tell her she right all the time, she ain't really fooling with you like that. And my thing is, what I try to explain to her is that's gonna hurt you because you got to be able to have real friends that's gonna tell you when your stuff stank. I got real friends, and we keep it 100 with each other, and that's why all my friends like I'll talk about like my boy Curtis Blackwell. You just seen on here with Sound Mind, Sound Body. My boy Norman Clement. A lot of my friends, we are super successful where we from because we hold each other accountable and we push forward. We don't just be saying, "Oh, you good." No, we talk to each other about it. So I just think that sometimes me being straight up and down, it's certain things they didn't show. But I think sometimes I'm a direct person. It might rub somebody the wrong way. And I'm like, okay, I'm still not going to lie to you. I'm going to tell you the truth, how I feel. And then sometimes as humans, I feel this way during this time period. Then God reveals something to me. And then my heart might be different. Like, I still, like, if you lied, you lied. Like, you saw the episode, I didn't call you fake. I said you lied, and you did lie, and it was never addressed. We gave you a pass because you've done a lot of lying. And if you really watch the show, and if you go speak to people from Detroit, it ain't that. If you ask about the Thompsons, we're very consistent. We handle business. People don't hate us. People don't dislike us. If you go ask about other couples like Christina and Brandon, a lot of people got issues with them. You got to look at the patterns. And I'm not hating on you because we don't need to. We good.
All right, so we talked a little bit about just being your authentic self. What really got me this episode tonight was when you had went and you met up with Christina, and that was a lot of people online were like, was that you being petty? Was that authentic? And what really blew my mind was like the fact that we've seen Christina, in my opinion, she can sing. Like she's very intelligent, very
always complimented her.
And I had the opportunity to even meet her in person at our Detroit Magazine's event, and dope, extremely, extremely beautiful, an amazing person, and the fact that in a sense, in my opinion, in certain instances, she's letting what do you mean if your husband will let you? That's what I was like, if your husband will let you do an interview, that's crazy to me.
Well, I'll say this. I think it was because she said that because of the place they were in at that moment. I don't think she was saying he rules over her. Because Christina, all the women on the show are strong Black women. Let's be clear about that. They're all very gifted and talented. In fact, everybody on the show is very gifted and talented. Extremely. So you got some high level people that's on here, but the issue that Brandon and Christina has is consistency and follow through and getting things done. So Christina has a lot of talent, but what have you done? What have you gotten done? I can tell you everything I've done from the beginning of the year all the way to December, how many people I've impacted, what are the numbers, and deals closed and what's going on. Everybody don't operate like that. So that's why I'll be saying I feel like God put people around you that can really help you get to that next level. But if you on some BS, you're blocking the blessing.
True.
That's true.
Okay,
so the
Anthony.
Comment about Kim, that's what I was saying. You and Kim had a great relationship. I didn't even know she knew Kim. You know what I'm saying? Kim never talked about her before. And I've known Kim a long time. We have a lot of mutual friends. Just like Will could probably tell you. Me and Will Bennett probably know 500 of the same people.
Yes, sir.
And my thing is, people are very consistent where Detroit don't play. If you burn bridges in Detroit, that junk gonna hurt you.
It's over.
Hey, done.
And that's just like New York. That's just like other spots. So it's just you got to do the work and be consistent.
Yeah. Oh, well, Anthony, I'm not gonna lie. I like some of the what they say, the ratchetness of the whole thing. Was there any moment where you had to tap somebody like, yo, I heard what you said, but you said it on TV. You may have to see me after these lights go out.
Man, actually, dog, I'm gonna be real with you. Again, where I'm from, Joy Road, then I went to King High School. So I'm connected West Side, East Side, everything. I've literally had to put a lot of fires out for people pulling up. I'm like, dog, this TV, dog. It's TV. You know what I'm saying? Real talk. You know what I'm talking about,
yes.
Will. This is
yes,
TV.
sir.
I be having to tell people that. Even my kids, my young dogs, because you got to think, I got a lot of teenagers too. And some of them from the way. And they'll pull up for me. I don't think people understand the connection it is, even with, yes, I'm connected in the faith world. I'm also connected in the streets. So it's you gotta I keep that because I'm God don't want that. I be having to let people know.
I love it.
And these are good people at the end of the day, man. Everybody good people, man. It ain't even that deep.
I got a question. I'll let everybody else go. What's up, man? What up, though?
What up, though?
My name is Elante. Hey, I'm from Joy Road, though, but I'm on the other end. I'm on the other end. Joy Road and Wyoming side. You feel me?
Oh, where they steal all the cars at?
Yeah. They got me a few times. They got me a few times.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, they got me a few times for sure. So I moved now, though. I'm in the burbs now. It's all right.
Hey, you supposed to do that.
Hey, but I love the city, though, with all my heart. But I got a question. So how much, and I heard you talk about Youthville, which is big because I used to work at Youthville as a therapist, as a child therapist there. I used to go there and help with some ABA stuff and stop through there.
Oh, so you know Norman Clement.
Yeah, I know all them guys. So when you were saying that,
we know the same people.
When you were saying that, I'm like, oh, I was at Youthville. So I transitioned through a few of those places working there. So how much has the show opened up for the business side as like as far as you helping the youth?
Well, what it has helped do is we already were moving and going. So we've been doing, like, again, I've been doing community work since I started off work helping my dad and all his people. They trained us. So me, Norm, Curtis Blackwell, Karan Wright, a lot of us got trained from my dad and his crew. So we've been doing community work since we was kids, 12, 13 years old.
Okay.
On my own, I've been doing it since I was probably 18, 19. And what has happened is it has helped us on the back end. So now certain corporations are talking to us, and we, trying to figure out how to move things forward for the youth. So that we doing a lot of stuff where they're going to be able to do career development. We just partnered with Michigan State University. We have a course going up there. My book coming out soon. Entertainment University. So that book coming out, and it's the Bible for the entertainment industry. So it has helped on the back end. On the front end, we already did that work on the front end. So now we sitting at the table just trying to close out some things, which is going to take some time. Like the thing with Michigan State, it's probably going to take about at least a year to get that done because you got to go through all the red tape.
So I got one more. I got another question. So, like, why are you doing this? You're activists in the community. You from Detroit, and like you got these ties with different people. What's the end goal as far as helping these youth? Like I know you got the foundation, but for you, like what's your personal end goal for you to see with the youth that you are helping?
It's not just for the youth.
Okay, I like that.
My end game is, see, this is what people don't know. Detroit is the headquarters. So I'm downtown Detroit now. This is the headquarters. But the state of Michigan is where we help and build a new ecosystem. We just did a program up in Flint where we built a studio, and we got programs going on up there. So what we're doing is we are equipping people from middle school all the way through college and help them get transferable skills and to learn our business and entertainment. But you can take it to other sectors. Also, what we're doing is we help them with training, workforce development, so that we can build the entertainment business here to where it's sustainable on its own here in Detroit. So what we're doing is we're trying to set up distribution outlets that help youth so they can do internships, go to school, get scholarships. So we got a whole piece we rolling out that we're working on right now as we speak.
That's fire, man.
So Detroit, when I talk about how much I'm embedded in Detroit and the state of Michigan, like I give myself, I already know what my calling is. So I know what my calling is. So, that's why I'm trying to pull people to come support and be a part of, because like this is for generations down the road.
That's so dope, man. Hey, well, I definitely gotta congratulate you on what you're doing. Like, I had to look you up for myself today. Especially like I play ball right now, so I'm really I had to go pull up some little highlights real quick. I ain't gonna hold you, had to go look up some highlights. So you definitely do that though. So I do appreciate, especially seeing another black man in the light, and also being able, it's not just about being on TV for you, it's also you actually doing the footwork and laying down the pedestal and the groundwork for other future girls, boys, youth, young and old too for it. So I do commend you on that.
Love.
Yes, I love that. You're such an inspiration. Like I have so many dreams, goals, and aspirations, and so like it's just inspiring to hear you speak on it, to see what you're doing with the men's movement, getting to see where it started and then see where it will grow to. Like it's amazing to watch. And then I heard you and Marcel talking about, I think he worked with youth. Which is something that I used to do. I do have a passion for the youth. And so I'm going to be watching so that
I appreciate that.
I go and do what I do. I can kind of learn from you guys with Detroit, how to do the same thing in St. Louis. Because I got like long term is a youth center, but not just for the youth. I also want to like just be able to give that education and, work, like you say, workforce development, things like that. And just so many other things, but very inspiring.
St. Louis is our cousins. I mean, I know you in Chicago, that's y'all brothers and sisters, but I know St. Louis very well. My boy, he was the defensive coordinator for the Rams, and when they were there, and so I spent a lot of time there, and I know the city very well.
Okay.
So and my brother-in-law is from there. My wife's twin sister, he's from there.
Oh,
so we've been there quite a bit.
Okay, cool. We'll have to link up one day.
So other people besides Meach from Detroit that came through St. Louis and showed love.
Nice.
That's real.
Okay, yes, sir.
My other question, kind of linked to, I think that is, I think Alante kind of touched on it. What is your dream for what the men's movement will become, and what would you like to see happen as a result of you now having this platform? And that's not just with the men's movement, but just with everything you want to do.
Well, with the man's movement, my cousin Joe, if you saw at the meeting, black guy with the hat on, we were at his restaurant. That was his restaurant in Flint. And because a lot of businesses, like, they don't show it on there. Like, Bravo and the only one on restaurants, like, we got them too. We just don't talk about what we own. But that was my cousin's, that was his restaurant, and we have some of that we opening in Detroit as well. But he is the president of the Man's Movement now. So he's the president because, like with my wife, I stepped down of running the company, and I'm just an investor now with Oblins because God was showing me I was doing too many things at once, running too many companies and, trying to push this forward while working a full-time job and traveling. So plus the kids and the family, it was just too much. So now it's really just my job, AT Network, and Entertainment University. So Entertainment University and AT Network, that's my dream. And that's what God has me assigned to right now to build out. That's going to build infrastructure for the city of Detroit and the state of Michigan. Because, like, again, what we're doing is we're focused on being the Ford Motor Company of the entertainment industry, to where people can have full-time jobs, send their kids to college, kids can have internships, go to school, and then people can have livelihood, 2 cars in a house, So that's what we focus on bringing. That's our model, and that's what we focus on bringing here to the state of Michigan, so that people, like, it went from Detroit to Atlanta. We bring it back to Detroit. We bring it back to the state of Michigan. Like, that's just what it is. The talent is here. So we Tubi Capital right now, the music popping from gospel all the way to rap, we doing it. So it's like we need infrastructure. And so that's something that I've helped implement across the country, and that's what I'm going to do here for my city.
Love it.
I love it.
Anthony, real quick, I do want to jump in, and I know, we talked just a little bit about the different career ventures and independent projects that you have going on and that you're working, doing. Do you mind talking to us a little bit and introducing your podcast, the Culture Conversations podcast, and what can we expect? And is there any upcoming interviews you have? I know you just dropped, or you're dropping an interview with G Baby. So can you tell us a little bit more about your podcast and
check out? I'm gonna say this because I always like to let people to pay attention. G Baby and his team, they got an app. They got a new service for music that is revolutionary, and people are making money off of it. And they doing teams because that's where Vezel's involved, Helleva's involved, all these guys. And check out that episode on the Culture Conversations podcast so that you can see what he's doing. Also, on the podcast, we focus on all I do: music, film, TV, fashion. We had conversations with people that's in front of that's in the limelight, and people behind the scenes. And on this, we let people tell their stories. We also drop in jewels. Like, we had a Kill Alvin on there, and this young guy is phenomenal. He is 30 under 30 Forbes list. He has a multi-million-dollar agency, million-dollar contracts in the city of Detroit. Also, he worked with WWE, all these Disney, all of them. Check that episode out because he dropped a lot of jewels. And I just want people to tap in and start paying attention because I'm consistent. I'm doing the same thing across all platforms. We about educating and building the entertainment industry and really helping people get to their dreams.
Okay.
Absolutely. And my fellow co-hosts, do you guys have any other questions? I want to make sure we got all our questions answered. So if any of you guys have any additional questions, I know we have some people in here watching live. There's been a lot of people checking in the comments. So if anybody, real quick before we
ask some questions about some of the drama, because that's what people want to hear about.
That I was gonna say the floor
you
is
tap
now.
In on that, dog. Sorry, I'm behind the scenes. I'm a host too, so you gotta tap in on that because you gotta get your views up.
Oh no, facts.
Well, okay,
That's all a mess. Come on.
Hey, okay. I see that like you and your wife have different situations, and also the other cast. But my thing is, has there been something where a bomb was dropped and you was like, "Yo, I don't believe he said that. He gonna have to pay for that later on."
A bomb was dropped. The only issue I had on the show ever where it kind of hit me is when he said something about my father. That was a real moment. Like, I'm gonna be honest with you. Russell was speaking in my ear. Like, he kept saying, God, Jesus. Like, God, don't want you to do it. Because low key, I was gonna flip that table over and stomp him out. Like, real talk.
Yes.
But I really was like, Russell saved his life that day. And then if Bravo said the wrong thing, he'd have caught him too. Like, real talk. So it's just like that pissed me off in that moment. And then like you'll see, like a lot of times I get irritated. They were irritants to me, Brandon and I love Bravo. That's my boy, and he'll tell you how much I support him. But Brandon was an irritant to me on season 1, and I know how they shoot and show stuff. And I'm like, dude, all I ever did was help you. When it came to doing the showcase, I funded the showcase. I helped. I brought people on. I brought music executives, and they're on my board. So let's keep it real. I got people from Def Jam on my board, Entertainment Universe, people from iHeartRadio, people from all these major companies. So it's like I brought my friends and I brought people to help build you up. Because, like, you know, let's be real. I said some foul stuff, and I was wrong for saying Star Factory and never created no stars. But was I lying?
Nope.
So my point is, I'm not the dude to play with. And I want you to win and succeed, or I wouldn't have did it, because my thing is, what does that benefit me doing a showcase? I do live concerts, major shows, major tours every day. I work in operations. What do you do for a living? If you Google me, you will see that I work for Live Nation. You'll see that I work for Capitol Records. I work for Sony, Epic, and Disney Marvel Studios. I worked on some of the biggest projects in the world. Like, that's real common sense. So I wasn't the right guy to go against, because Brandon, I always had your back and introduced you to the right people. So it's like, but you got to execute and close the deals. I can't do that part for you. So he pissed me off. I was really like, bump him. When that happened with my dad, I was done. That's when I was done. I was like, man, all deals off the table. I'm going in. I don't care what time. It's whatever type of time. I was on whatever type of time at that moment.
Okay. You know, going through the episodes and watching them, and me personally, I felt Brandon was soft, man. I was like, yo, what's wrong with my man? So I want to ask you, did you ever feel like that, or did that ever like run through your head like, yo, my man, because as I dissect each person, each couple, and I'm looking at you guys like, okay, I can, okay.
Let me answer that though.
Brandon, like, come on, bro.
I gotta say this in 2 parts because I gotta be obedient to God. So I gotta say this in 2 parts. On one part, in my flesh, in one part, I was all like, why is you playing with me, dog? I can squash you in 2 seconds. Like, it ain't. I'm not gonna get no brownie points whooping up on him. If I fight anybody on the show, only person I can fight and get brownie points for is knocking Russell out. Me knocking anybody else on the show, people know me for real. That they gonna be like, why you do that, dog? That ain't cool. You know what I'm saying? Because I think people forget that I'm 6'1.5". I'm 230 pounds. I ain't no little bitty fella. So I'm an ex-football player. So what am I gonna gain from knocking him out? But then the other part of me, while my God softened my heart towards him on some things, was when I watched the show, I see where I was projecting, and I was trolling him and being an a-hole because he pissed me off about my dad. I was like, okay, we're gonna keep going. But God softened my heart when I watched some certain things. I'm like, dang, he grew up a lot different from us. You know, like, he has a Caucasian mother and a black father. His dad was a regular Negro. He a Detroit guy. Like his dad was a Detroit guy. Then his mom coming from, I don't know where she came up from, but being a biracial kid, the way he come up, then going to private school, he didn't grow up like I grew up. So like when I'm saying certain things going on, he probably processing it a lot different than what I was. So like I'm interested too as the show goes on to watch this dynamic with him and his mother. And then also Christina, she come from a black family from Buffalo that's PK, and they come from a real black family. You know how they go. Like her, Toy, and Kobe have a lot more similarities than they have differences if they can ever sit down and really talk about it and build. But I had to look at that too. You know, I had to really look at that too. Like, okay, he has a lot of things that he needs to address in his personal life that's spilling over into his marriage, that's spilling over into his friendships, from the way he grew up and the way he thinks. So I'm really like real talk. Like he apologized for the stuff with my dad. You know what I'm saying? It took me time, real talk, to even really have a conversation with him. But at this point now, it's like I don't have no beef with him. I don't want to see him do bad, because at the end of the day, when it comes to him and his wife and his marriage, I think about them 2 little girls and them babies. Like we need strong black families at the end of the day. But you talk trash, I'm coming back with it. So I control all day. That ain't stopping.
Okay. I like that.
I wanted to ask your thoughts on Kobe and her being disappointed in having another girl. I know on this episode it showed, I think, your wife talking to her.
Yep.
Which I was glad that she did. And
we walked through this.
What'd you say?
We literally walked through this. So when it comes to this situation, I'm sorry, were you done?
Oh no, I'm done.
Okay. When it comes to this situation with Kobe and Russell having a second daughter, my wife and I had 2 boys. She really wanted 2 kids. She wanted to have our boy was the oldest. Once I had my son, I was good. I don't care if we don't have no more kids, 3 more kids, whatever. I got my 3rd. I was good. So we had my son Aiden second, and my wife was disappointed and emotional because she really wanted a little girl. Then we tried for a little girl a 3rd time, and we lost a child. Then we got a prophet came and said, hey, y'all gonna have a daughter that's gonna complete y'all family and bring joy. So then we started trying again. It's a gap between the boys and my daughter. It's like a 6-year gap. And so then we had our daughter, and her name is Ava Joy. So God literally brought that to us, but we did fasting and praying, and then the prophet came, brought the word, and that's when we did that. But it's okay to have a preference. That's my wife was telling her. It's okay to have a preference, because we as people have preferences, and she's still thankful to have a healthy child. Russell's still thankful to have a healthy child, but that was a painful time for her, because she really wanted to have both worlds, and as the only thing we can do, and Russell heard me, I don't think they they cut a lot of scenes. Me and Russell filmed together a lot, but for some reason they cut a lot of those scenes. And I talked to him about that, and he really wants a son. His father had boys and girls, and then he promised his dad that he will name his son to keep the name going. So he really wants a son also to honor his father and keep the legacy going. So people got to understand, it's not just because, I just want a boy and a girl. It's a reason behind that too.
Yeah, I totally understand. I did a whole book. I tweeted a whole book last week because I was trying not to be judgmental, which I wasn't, because I understood, but I also was just saying that I feel like if we have to consider God's plan over our plan, and it helps with those expectations, helps you to manage those expectations. Because yes, like you said, you can have a preference. That's okay. But I just was concerned as far as her, projecting those feelings onto that baby, because the baby in the womb can feel everything. You know what I'm saying?
That's what my wife told her. Because my middle child is very quiet and he's reserved and he's emotional. My wife is a very quiet person. That's why I saw like she opened up a lot on season 2. We all pushed her. Because she said, I don't even want to do it, because if I have an opinion, they coming for me if I just state my opinion. And what people got to understand is we have to talk. We have to have opinions, or it's not a show.
Yes.
Period.
Exactly. And yeah, tell her don't be afraid to speak. Speak up, because people gonna talk either way,
They
no matter
gonna say
what
it
you
anyway.
say.
Regardless, right? People are gonna like you said earlier. People are gonna troll regardless. So I mean, you gotta just not brush it off. Not let these tweets, or if it's not about money or making moves, or me and my family, like all these other trolls and these comments. It's not even important at the end of the day.
I mean, at the end of the day, I have fun filming. I don't know about everybody else. I have a ball. I'll come on set. I'll be like, let's go. What we doing today? I have fun.
Okay.
That's good.
We do have a question here from Brittany. I'm going to pop it up on the screen. Brittany Jones says, what are your thoughts about the other cast members of Love and Marriage, Huntsville, and DC?
I actually know the cast of the other shows. DC, half of my family's in DC, so I'm really tapped in with DC. So the Thompsons are deep in DC. And so I know the Tylers. I actually met Joy, and while I was in high school, she was in college. Some of my boys was older. I played ball with. She went to Hampton with some of my homeboys that played at Hampton. So I actually known Joy for a long time. And Clifton, I have not met him, but we've talked over the phone. Me and the Tylers and the Thompsons have hung out. I know also on Huntsville's show, I've met Ashley. My wife knows Ashley, but I've met her several times. She's cool. I've never met her husband. And I met Winter. I really wish she would come back because, Winter's pretty cool too. She got a new relationship, if y'all seen on social media. And I think I've met him, and I think he would be a great asset to the show. So I really wish Winter and her new boo would come on the show together as one of the couples. Because I think it'd be like, they'd turn up. It'd be good because he's very smart dude. He's a very smart dude, and he's an investor, tech audit. Like it would take the show somewhere else. So Huntsville, I know, of course, I know Marcel and his wife. They're very cool. I know Destiny. Those are the only ones that I've met on Huntsville. So I think the cast are good. I think that you got to let everybody. Each show is different. And I think you got to let each show have its own characters and its own personality and let it be what it is. Because Huntsville started off, they were focused on real estate. The show was supposed to be called The Comeback Group, and then it transitioned into Love and Marriage, which is genius, so they can have longer legs. And I think that all the shows are excellent. And I do want to see more cross us going on their shows, they coming on our shows, since we all know each other. Like, we all actually know each other because half of Huntsville cast is from Michigan. So they come home, we tap in with each other. And then I've actually known Jamie Tyler for a long time because he did promotions, and he actually know people I know, and we've done some shows to where we were both connected on the same show. So Jamie actually known me since I was a teenager, even though we weren't close and really knew each other, but we've been connected. So I think the shows are excellent. And, Carlos King coming from Detroit, from the east side, is genius. The man know what he's doing. Like, yes. I'm taking pages out of his book on his reality side, and I just think that it's going to open. He's doing more than just, he's helping Detroit catapult, but he's also helping our culture catapult, opening doors for a lot of other African Americans.
Right.
Speaking of the other shows, I have to ask you, and I'm not sure if you can even give it to us because I know contracts and everything, but Detroit is in Metro Detroit, the whole entire city in the Metro Detroit area is full of talent. I'm currently in Ohio, but I am originally.
Where in Ohio are you from?
I am. Well, I'm from Oak Park, so I'm
okay.
I'm like.
Oh, you and Brandon from the same? Y'all grew up together.
I wouldn't say all that, but I am from that area, so I have to ask you because I have one person in particular from back home that I would like to see on the show. I know we recently just got introduced to the Doe Lions. Is there any other personality or influencer in the city or just in Michigan overall that you think would be a good add-on to the cast for maybe future seasons?
This is what has to happen for shows to be great. You can't just bring people on the show. It has to be people that's a part of the story, meaning like I think they should know cast members already, and it organically builds. So it is people that know all of us, that we all know, that I think that would be a good fit. But at the end of the day, Carlos King decides who comes on. We've introduced him already to couples we feel that should come on. He just got to give it the head nod. So, like when I tell people when I'm doing stuff, pull up, film. If you get a moment, take your moment. Maybe they'll keep it. That's all I can say. Now, contractually, I can't shout out people because that's gonna bring some issues. But I'm gonna say it in that manner, you know. And I already know who you're talking about too. You're a little messy behind. I watch social media. I already know who you're talking about, and they my people.
I'm not saying nothing.
Yeah,
Anthony already knows who I have in mind.
He know. See, Tyler know I'm tapped in. I know what'll be going on.
I had to ask about it.
I know.
Said person,
Mr. King, hey, inbox Mr. King and start your campaign.
Oh, I'm already the president of the campaign. I'm working. I promise you. I already
know what type of time you on.
You said I know you're messy.
Now you can be a producer for a reality show because all of them are like y'all. They're like, man, this is what they do, man. If y'all see they do behind the scenes, boy, I be laughing. I be like, you fell for that? They ain't gotta produce me. I be producing my own stuff.
Right.
Okay. I'm speechless. I don't know. I don't have nothing more to say.
Man, tell Carlos you want a job, man, because you already know you can produce.
Hey, I told him. I tweeted
the interview with Carlos too, so I'll be the president of that person that we know who I'm referring to. I'll be her campaign president. I will. I also got one other person who's big in local media, so you probably know who that is too.
I tweeted.
I know exactly the people you're talking about.
I got two, and they're beautiful and very intelligent and very talented, and I'm leaving it at that.
And what's funny is we're already friends.
There you go.
Right, y'all got me speechless. If there's any other questions, I don't want to take too much of everybody's time. I'm at a loss of words, so
I have one more question. Okay. Again, just want to congratulate you, Anthony, on everything that you're doing. Why should the people that haven't seen the show, why should they not only check out what's going on now? Why do you think they should go back and check out episode 1, season 1?
Well, if you check out season one, it's really just to see the history. Real talk. Season 2 on a whole nother level. And you can see people got comfortable with the camera season 2 and was able to, let go. Season 2, I mean, you got to think, Love and Marriage Detroit is not like any other show. It don't matter what walk of life you from. Whether you're from the streets, you're gonna be entertained, you're gonna see some things. Whether you're from the corporate world, you're gonna see certain things because we all educated. Whether you're from the faith-based community, we all believers, and we bring such a different dynamic, and it's just made for TV. I mean, I think this is like what they tried to do in the past, like a little bit of Preachers of Detroit and a little bit of Grown and Gospel, a little bit of all that melted into one, and we just bringing it, you know what I'm saying, and represent the D on a whole nother level.
Okay.
And then get Detroit and all of our people get behind the show, really catapulted the numbers, because what happens is if you learn, it opens up doors for other shows. They just cast it, and they're gonna bring out the show, another own show that Detroit is going to be featured. So the more our show does well, they're going to look at this market. They're looking at numbers. It's going to bring other shows and opportunities for others. So y'all better tap in with us because we opening the doors.
Right. That's how I was feeling when I think you guys season first started, season 1, and there were people on Twitter saying like they were bored or whatever. And it's just like, give it a chance. Like,
yeah, you got to build things. That's just like music catalogs. Like when it comes to TV, you got to build shows, and it takes time.
Mm-hmm.
I still think we did a phenomenal job. I don't care what nobody talks about.
I told you,
so you think you can do this until you step into this. You think you can do it.
Exactly.
You'll see what it is.
Yeah, and then people are looking for messy and drama, and it does. I would like for it to be I think you guys do a good job of it. It just seems real with what you guys got going on. I actually hate to see when it's that clash between, you know, black women or black men or whatever.
It's
so
gonna happen.
Yeah, I prefer to see how y'all have y'all brotherhood and, you know, little things come up and then the women are trying to, you know, come together.
When have you ever in history, you can go to Genesis. When have you seen in history where humans get together and you're not going to have conflict? It's impossible. Yeah. So it's naturally going to happen with the guys. It's going to happen with the women. It's going to happen with the marriages and relationships.
Right.
Just tune in. It's always going to be something.
Yeah.
Period. We're humans.
I just hope all of y'all stay together because I really, really wanted Melody and Martell, of course, to make it. But
decisions, you got to make a decisions. Like I'm just telling y'all, I don't know how to date nobody but my wife. We've been together since college, so like real talk. Like I ain't trying. I've heard the stories. I ain't trying to be out here in the dating scene. Like real talk. I'm straight on that.
Yeah.
I'm not going to Ruth Chris every Friday. I can't do it.
Like you're kind of expensive.
And then paying for all this, and then paying all your bills, and I gotta be in a Maybach every day. Like I'm straight. Y'all can have that life.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Doris.
I just said thank you so much.
Yes,
we enjoyed.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for taking the time.
Be sure I'm going to put everybody's social media links, of course, in the description of the video in the captions. Anthony, thank you so much. I am hoping that there's going to be some more men's movement events because I'm definitely going to come back home and I'd like to.
You're gonna see something dope. You're gonna see Entertainment University partner with the men's movement, and my kids are excited. They can't wait. They about to be on TV, and they're like, Mr. Thompson, when is it coming out? So like, you got a bunch of kids that. They excited and it's a touching moment. You see what we do with the kids.
Absolutely. I just want to make sure that we are giving you your flowers and recognizing all of the work that you're doing. So mad props to you and the entire movement. I want to thank my co-hosts Doris and Will and Alante for jumping in on us. And we're definitely here on our show. We're gonna keep live tweeting during all the episodes. I'm ready for the reunion already. So we're definitely supporting you guys, and I'm looking forward to seeing all the amazing things that's forthcoming in the future.
Absolutely. I appreciate y'all. Y'all be blessed.
All right, y'all stay safe. Thank you guys again.
Thank you.
All right, peace.